Every sign rules a specific part of the body. This is not something that was invented by the internet. It is one of the oldest frameworks in all of astrology, dating back more than 2,000 years to ancient Greek and Roman medical texts. Physicians used it. Scholars studied it. It was called the zodiacal man. And the principle behind it is remarkably simple. The zodiac maps onto the human body from head to feet in exact order. Aries starts at the top. Pisces ends at the bottom. And every sign between governs the body region in descending sequence. That is not random. It is architecture. The core associations are ancient. Aries rules the head, Pisces rules the feet, and everything in between follows the same descending logic that physicians used centuries ago. Modern astrologers have expanded the framework to include specific organs and systems, like the thyroid, the adrenal glands, and the immune system, based on where they sit in the body. But the foundation has not changed. And what makes this framework genuinely useful is not just knowing which body part your sign rules. It is understanding that your body is speaking to you in the language of your sign. The area your sign governs is where you hold stress, where you feel emotion physically, and where your body sends its clearest signals when something in your life is not right. This video is going to walk you through all 12 signs, what they rule, where they hold tension, and what your body is trying to tell you. This is not medical advice. It is self-awareness. The kind that most people never think about until the body forces them to pay attention. Let us start where the zodiac starts. At the top, Aries rules the head, the face, and the brain. And if you are an Aries, this is where everything shows up first. When you suppress something you need to say, the jaw clenches before you even realize you are holding back. When you push through frustration without addressing it, the headache arrives like clockwork. When you are carrying too much mental load, the tension gathers behind your eyes and across your forehead in a way that no amount of rest seems to fix. Here is what your body is telling you. The headache is not random. The jaw tension is not stress in the general sense. It is your body expressing what you did not allow yourself to express out loud. An Aries whose head hurts is often an Aries who swallowed something they needed to say. The practical takeaway is simple. When the tension builds in your head and face, ask yourself one question. What am I holding back right now? Name it, say it, and notice how quickly the tension releases when the truth comes out. Pay attention to jaw clenching at night. Practice releasing your jaw deliberately throughout the day. And take headaches seriously as signals, not just inconveniences. Taurus rules the neck, the throat, the vocal cords, and the thyroid. If you are a Taurus, your throat is your emotional barometer. When you are enduring a situation you should have left, the neck locks up. When you are holding onto something that no longer serves you, the throat tightens. When there are words you need to say but cannot bring yourself to speak, the voice weakens or disappears entirely. A Taurus who loses their voice during a stressful period is not just sick. Their body is mirroring what they are doing emotionally, going silent when they should be speaking. Here is what your body is telling you. The neck pain and the throat tension are telling you that something in your life needs to change, and you are refusing to say it out loud. The body part that rules your sign is the one responsible for turning thought into speech. When you block that pathway emotionally, the body blocks it physically. The practical takeaway: stay hydrated consistently, not just when you are thirsty. Practice neck stretches and shoulder rolls daily. And when your throat tightens for no obvious medical reason, ask yourself what truth you are swallowing instead of speaking. Gemini rules the arms, the hands, the shoulders, and the lungs. If you are a Gemini, this is where your nervous system lives. When your mind is overstimulated, the shoulders creep toward your ears without you noticing. When anxiety hits, the breathing goes shallow before any other symptom appears. When you are mentally overwhelmed, your hands get restless, fidgeting, scrolling, reaching for something to do even when there is nothing that needs doing. Here is what your body is telling you. The shallow breathing is your lungs telling you that your mind is moving faster than your body can sustain. The shoulder tension is your body absorbing the weight of mental overload. And the restless hands are your nervous system searching for an outlet because the input has exceeded your processing capacity. The practical takeaway: when you notice the shoulders rising or the breathing thinning, stop. 3 deliberate breaths. Deep enough that your stomach moves, not just your chest. That alone resets a Gemini's nervous system faster than anything else. Give your hands something physical to do that is not a screen. And treat shallow breathing as the first warning sign that you are running too many programs at once. Cancer rules the chest, the breasts, and the stomach. If you are a Cancer, your gut is not just a digestive organ. It is an emotional organ. When you are absorbing other people's feelings without processing your own, the stomach knots. When you are carrying worry for someone you love, the appetite disappears or becomes erratic. When you feel emotionally unsafe, the digestion shuts down as if the body has decided it cannot process food and fear at the same time. Here is what your body is telling you. The stomach problems are not separate from the emotional weight you are carrying. They are the same thing expressed in different languages. A Cancer whose digestion collapses during a hard period is not just stressed. Their body is telling them that they are carrying feelings that are not all theirs. The practical takeaway: eat slowly, especially during emotional periods. Never eat while actively upset if you can avoid it. Pay attention to the direct connection between your emotional state and your gut. And when the stomach knots for no obvious dietary reason, ask yourself whose feelings you are digesting along with your own. Leo rules the heart, the upper back, and the spine. If you are a Leo, your posture tells the truth about your confidence before you say a word. When you feel seen and valued, the chest opens. The shoulders drop back. The spine straightens. You take up space naturally and without effort. When you feel unseen, unappreciated, or diminished, the upper back rounds. The chest caves. The spine collapses forward as if the body is trying to protect the heart by hiding it. Here is what your body is telling you. The upper back pain is not just physical tension. It is your body responding to a perceived loss of warmth from the people around you. A Leo whose posture collapses is a Leo whose heart does not feel safe enough to stay open. The practical takeaway: back strengthening exercises matter more for you than for most signs. Not just for physical health, but for emotional resilience. When you notice your shoulders rolling forward and your chest caving, ask yourself where in your life you feel unappreciated. And take cardiovascular health seriously. The heart that rules your sign is the one that needs the most consistent care. Virgo rules the digestive system and the intestines. If you are a Virgo, your gut is the first place your anxiety goes. Before the thoughts spiral visibly, before the worry becomes something you can name, the stomach has already responded. Appetite changes. Digestive disruption. A sensitivity to food that seems to appear out of nowhere, but correlates exactly with how much mental pressure you are under. Here is what your body is telling you. Your intestines are a direct readout of your mental state. When the mind is running an unsustainable program of self-criticism, analysis, and perfectionism, the digestive system mirrors it. It cannot process efficiently because the system it is connected to, your mind, is overloaded. The practical takeaway: never eat while working. That sounds simple, but for a Virgo it is revolutionary. Separate the intake of food from the intake of information. Your digestion needs your full attention at meal times. Probiotics, fiber, and consistent meal timing matter more for you than for most signs. And when your stomach tells you something is off, trust it. Your gut has been right about your stress level longer than your mind has been willing to admit. Libra rules the kidneys, the lower back, and the adrenal glands. If you are a Libra, the lower back is where people-pleasing lives in your body. When you have been accommodating everyone else's needs at the expense of your own for too long, the lower back starts to ache. When you are exhausted from maintaining harmony in every direction, the adrenals fatigue. The tiredness is not laziness. It is the physical cost of being the person who holds everything in balance for everyone around them while neglecting their own equilibrium entirely. Here is what your body is telling you. The lower back pain is the weight of every compromise that cost you something you did not acknowledge. The adrenal fatigue is your body telling you that peace kept at the expense of self is not peace. It is labor, and the labor is depleting you. The practical takeaway: lower back stretches daily. Adequate water intake to support kidney function. And when the exhaustion arrives and you cannot explain it through sleep deficit alone, ask yourself how many people you have been carrying this week who should be carrying themselves. Scorpio rules the reproductive organs and the bladder. If you are a Scorpio, the lower body stores what the mind refuses to release. Emotional pain that is not processed, betrayals that are not resolved, grief that is not expressed, all of it settles in the pelvic region with a weight that is difficult to describe but impossible to ignore. A Scorpio who holds on to resentment or pain without ever letting it move through them carries it in the most private, most protected part of their body. Here is what your body is telling you. The tension and discomfort in this area is not random. It is your body holding what your mind will not let go of. The most guarded part of your body is guarding the most guarded part of your emotional life. The practical takeaway: physical movement that engages the lower body is essential for a Scorpio. Not just for fitness, for emotional release. Walking, running, dancing, swimming, anything that moves what has been sitting still. Adequate hydration for bladder health. And a willingness to connect physical discomfort in this area with emotional weight you may be carrying without acknowledging it. Sagittarius rules the hips, the thighs, and the liver. If you are a Sagittarius, the hips are where freedom lives in your body. When you feel trapped, in a job, in a relationship, in a routine that has become a cage, the hips tighten, the thighs ache, the restless legs begin. Your lower body is literally trying to move you out of whatever is holding you in place. Here is what your body is telling you. The hip tension is not a stretching problem. It is a freedom problem. A Sagittarius with chronically tight hips is almost always a Sagittarius who is staying somewhere they have outgrown. The body knows before the mind admits it. And the liver, which processes everything the body takes in, responds to a Sagittarius's tendency to overdo everything. Too much food, too much drink, too much experience, by sending signals that are easy to ignore until they are not. The practical takeaway: hip opening stretches are not optional for you. They are emotional maintenance. When the hips lock up, ask yourself where in your life you feel trapped. Moderate what you take in, especially alcohol, because your liver is processing more than just what you consume. It is processing the excess your Jupiter-ruled nature gravitates toward. Capricorn rules the bones, the joints, the knees, and the skin. If you are a Capricorn, your body keeps a record of how hard you have pushed yourself. The joints stiffen when you refuse to rest. The knees ache when you have been carrying weight that should have been shared. The skin breaks out when the internal pressure has nowhere else to go. A Capricorn's body does not fail randomly. It fails at the points of greatest structural load. And those points correspond exactly to where you have been bearing the most responsibility without relief. Here is what your body is telling you. The joint pain is not aging. It is overwork expressed physically. The knee problems are your body telling you that the weight you are carrying alone was always meant to be distributed. And the skin, which is the boundary between you and the world, reacts when that boundary has been breached by too many demands you did not refuse. The practical takeaway: joint-friendly exercise matters more for you than high-impact punishment. Your body does not need to be pushed harder. It needs to be maintained more carefully. Calcium, vitamin D, and hydration for bone and joint health. Consistent skincare routines. And a willingness to hear the joints and the knees when they tell you to rest instead of pushing through as a point of pride. Aquarius rules the ankles, the calves, and the circulatory system. If you are an Aquarius, circulation is the theme. Not just blood flow. The flow of movement, of change, of energy through your entire system. When you have been sedentary too long, physically or mentally stuck in one position, the calves cramp. The ankles weaken. The circulation slows in a way that shows up as cold hands, cold feet, and a general sense of stagnation that mirrors the mental stagnation you are experiencing. Here is what your body is telling you. The poor circulation is not just a physical issue. It is your body reflecting a lack of movement in your life. An Aquarius who feels mentally stuck will almost always feel physically sluggish at the same time. The two are connected in your sign more directly than in most. The practical takeaway: do not sit for long periods. Movement breaks are not optional for you. They're how your body processes information and clears mental fog. Ankle strengthening exercises prevent the weakness that your sign is associated with. And when the circulation drops and the extremities go cold, ask yourself what in your life has stopped moving. Then move it. Pisces rules the feet, the lymphatic system, and the immune system. If you are a Pisces, your feet carry you through the world, and your immune system tells you how much of the world you have been absorbing. When you are emotionally depleted, when you have given too much, carried too much, absorbed too many other people's feelings, the immune system drops. The cold arrives. The fatigue hits. Not because you were exposed to something, because your defenses went down the moment your emotional reserves ran dry. Here is what your body is telling you. The illness that arrives after an emotionally draining period is not coincidence. It is your body telling you that you gave more than you had. The feet, which connect you to the ground, ache when you have been ungrounded, when you have been floating in other people's worlds instead of standing firmly in your own. The practical takeaway: proper footwear matters more for you than you think. Foot care, foot massage, and walking barefoot on natural ground when possible. Sleep is not a luxury for a Pisces. It is immune maintenance. And when you feel yourself getting sick after an emotional period, do not just treat the symptoms. Ask yourself what you gave away that left you without enough reserves to protect yourself. Then rest without guilt. Because a Pisces who rests is not being lazy. They are refilling the well that everyone else drinks from. Now here is the piece that ties all of this together and makes the framework something you can use for the rest of your life. In traditional astrology, slow-moving planets transiting through a sign bring extra attention to the body area that sign rules. When Saturn moves through a sign, the body part that sign governs tends to require more discipline, more maintenance, and more attention to long-term health. When Mars moves through a sign, the body part that sign governs can experience more inflammation, more acute issues, or more intensity. When Jupiter moves through a sign, the body part that sign governs can experience excess, too much of something that is normally fine in moderation. You do not need to track this daily. But if you know which sign a slow planet is currently transiting, you can apply this framework yourself. Look up where Saturn is. Find the sign. Check the body part. And give that area a little more care than usual. That is how you use this framework as a living tool rather than a static list. The Zodiac mapped your body 2,000 years ago. The map still works. You just have to read it. Please remember that this video is for entertainment and personal reflection purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical or health advice. Every body is unique, and if you are experiencing persistent symptoms or health concerns, please consult a qualified healthcare professional. If this resonated with you, drop in the comments which sign's body connection you felt the moment you heard it. Save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need the reminder. This is not going anywhere, and neither is the connection between your sign and your body. Thank you for being with Stars Aligned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a blessed day. You got this.